My family brushed off my son's birthday as just a kid's party. But when I refused to foot the bill for a sweet 16, they actually sent the police to my house, and that's when I cut them out of my life. I'm Daniel. I'm 34, a single dad, and I make a living fixing networks. My guilty pleasure? Lists. I track where every single dollar goes. I can tell you the cost of a gallon of milk at 3 different stores, and I know exactly when one of them restocks the 12-pack juice boxes every Tuesday. My 11-year-old son, Maxime, is crazy about Lego, can't stand olives, and swears I'm a wizard because I can untangle cords without cursing. We live in a small rental with a bare patch of backyard and a grill I salvaged off the curb. My family is only 20 minutes away, so I thought we were close. Turns out I was wrong. Maxime's birthday party that Saturday started out small and happy. Blue streamers hung across the yard. I'd picked up a Costco sheet cake with level 10 Maxime written in pixel font. I rented a blow-up soccer goal and borrowed folding chairs from the neighbor. 6 of Maxime's classmates showed up. The whole street smelled like sunscreen and charcoal. I kept sneaking glances at my phone. Marion had texted, "We'll be there, wouldn't miss it." My sister Sophie promised to stop by. Aunt Elise said she was bringing party snacks. My brother Julian mentioned he'd swing by after the gym. I lined up small water bottles on the porch rail, tied a trash bag to the fence to make things look a little less messy, and checked our family group chat every 20 minutes. Still nothing. When the pizza guy arrived, I hesitated. "Can you wait a sec?" I expected a line of cars any minute. Maybe I'd need to add another large pepperoni. He peeked past me at the backyard and said, "Nah, you're fine." 2 o'clock turned into 3. The sun shifted. The kids kicked off their sneakers and took turns shooting at the inflatable goal. My neighbor from across the street came over with an extra cooler. "Looks packed," she smiled. I forced a smile too, my face stiff as wood. At 3:11 p.m. my phone buzzed. "Don't be so dramatic," my mom texted. "It's just a kid's party." I had to read it twice. Not "we're running late," not "we're stuck in traffic," not even "happy birthday." Just that sharp little line like a slap across the face. I was standing next to a bowl of orange slices when those words crawled under my skin and stayed there. Maxime ran up, cheeks flushed and hair sticking to his forehead. "Dad, can we do cake? Can we sing?" "Of course," I said. We gathered everyone, sang, and he blew out the candles in a single breath he'd been practicing, frosting smeared on his lips, his grin wide. I clapped like a seal, then slipped inside the kitchen to rinse the knife and catch my breath. The screen door squeaked behind me. My phone lit up again with a new message. "Sophie, we'll make it next time, today's insane." Then my lock screen showed her Instagram story. "Brunch mimosas," captioned "Self-Care Sunday on a Saturday." My mother was there in the corner, sunglasses on, champagne flute in hand. Julian's tattooed arm was draped around her chair. I stood in my kitchen with a dripping knife, a cake in the yard, and a 10-year-old who still thought promises meant something. Outside, kids cheered, "Goal!" I set the knife down, wiped my hands, and went back to serve cake without mentioning the empty chairs. Not a word. When the last child left, Maxim and I sat together building the spaceship he'd unwrapped. He didn't ask about grandma or his aunts and uncles. Maybe he didn't want to, maybe he already knew. At 8:04, after Maxim had fallen asleep on the couch clutching a slice of pizza like a tiny king, my mom called. Her voice sharp and careless. "Don't make a fuss, Daniel. He's 10. He won't even remember." As I stared at the ceiling, something inside me hardened. Cold, flat, sharp. I didn't reply. Instead, I cleaned, counted the chairs to return. Rinsed soda cans for recycling, scraped leftover frosting into the trash. Packed the banner into a shoebox with the candles. Everything in its place. That's what I do. Then I turned my phone face down on the counter, because if I read one more word from them, I'd send something I could never take back. I've always been the fixer. The one with the Wi-Fi password and the tax deadline marked. The one who remembers everyone's favorite dish. When our dad Philippe left, I was 21. My mom Marion looked at me in the driveway and said, "You're the man now." Not encouragement, an order. When Sophie opened her studio, I built her website and covered 6 months of hosting. "I'll pay you back when I'm profitable," she said. Profitable never came. When Julian got a DUI at 25, I skipped work to sit beside him in court. I was the one who drove Marion to urgent care during her winter illness because she refused to stop cooking. I Venmoed Julian's rent just this once, 3 times. Each time it came with a chorus, "Family helps family." Sophie's mirror pep talks, "You're thriving." Followed by, "Can you spot me till Friday?" Julian's, "I'll pay you back." He never did. But he sure bought rims. When Maxime was born, I swore he'd never sit in a plastic chair wondering if people cared. He'd always get cake even when money was tight. He'd grow up around adults who tried. Money was tight often, daycare cost as much as rent, health insurance ranked third, but I made it work. I sold my old guitar for a dentist bill, picked up side gigs, scrubbed thrift store cleats with a toothbrush so they looked brand new. Meanwhile, the family chat turned into a travel blog, wine tastings, spa retreats, Sophie's soft life, Julian's endless car selfies. Once I asked Marion if she wanted to come to dinner weekly. She sighed, "Sweetie, my calendar's packed. Next month." Next month never came, but payday requests always did. Sophie called me late last fall. "My card got declined for my Chalum trip. Can you fix it?" She promised Monday repayment. Monday came and went. "Don't be petty, Daniel. Money comes and goes, memories last forever." December, Marion handed me a spreadsheet like a ransom note. Holiday gifts, names, prices, color-coded. We should split it evenly. Evenly meant me. I bought Maxime a snowsuit and a book. Marion got the mixer she'd wanted. Sophie a supply store gift card. Julian sneakers, my gift. Silence when I asked if maybe they could bring dessert next time. It all piled up. Not just in my bank app, inside my chest. The math of responsibility makes you the safety net, and no one even notices. 2 days after Maxime's party, the family chat lit up with Marion's glittery, all-caps announcement. Very important. RSVP by Wednesday for your niece's Sweet 16. $3,100 per person. Please Venmo me. Attached was a glossy PDF. My cousin in a tiara, a ballroom dripping with orchids, cruise liner menu, caviar bar, ice sculpture, even a gelato artist. I stared at the number, $3,100, more than my car. Then Marion added, "Daniel, cover for grandma, she's on a fixed income. Of course, my name is Wallet. No mention of missing Maxime's birthday. No apology. Just another bill." Sophie chimed in, "We're all in. Elise won't settle for less. Daniel, can you organize the group gift? You're the spreadsheet guy. Julian, do they have open bar? If so, worth it. Daniel, you've got me and Clara covered, right?" I sipped my coffee and felt it burn. I typed no, deleted it. Not because I didn't mean it, but because words don't stick with them unless you attach something heavy. Then I noticed the sponsors page, my name printed in gold script under patrons. I hadn't given a dime. Sophie had submitted it using my LinkedIn headshot. My stomach sank. I reread Saturday's text, hoping I missed an apology. Nothing. Just Sophie's brunch photo and Marion's voice note. It's just a kid's party. The next morning. "Daniel, don't be difficult. Your cousin only turned 16 once. Something inside me iced over. Anger wasn't fire anymore. It was frozen, sharp, and certain. Sometimes there's a small moment before the big one. For me, it was noticing my house key, the same brass original. Marion had a copy. Sophie still hadn't returned hers. That afternoon, I went to the hardware store, changed the locks. Then, while the family chat buzzed with their lunchtime photos, I typed. My family dismissed my son's birthday as just a kid's party. But when I said no to funding a Sweet 16, they called the cops to my door. That was the last straw. It's just a kid's party, just a kid's party. I read the line twice because my mind refused to process it at first. Not running behind. Not traffic is bad. Not even happy birthday, sweetheart. Just that sentence sharp as a slap. I stood there beside a bowl of orange slices, feeling those words crawl beneath my skin and stay there. Maxime came racing over, cheeks red, sweaty hair sticking to his forehead. "Dad, can we do the cake? Can we sing now?" "Of course," I told him. We sang together. He blew out the candles in one breath. He had been practicing for weeks. Frosting smeared his smile, and I clapped like my hands belonged to someone else. Then I slipped into the kitchen to rinse the knife, breathing where nobody could see me. The screen door squeaked behind me. My phone buzzed, the chat bubble pulsing with dots like a heartbeat. Sophie finally texted, "We'll catch the next one. Today's insane." Seconds later, her story flashed on my lock screen. Brunch mimosas, captioned Self-Care Sunday on a Saturday with my girls. My mother sat in the corner of the photo, sunglasses on, champagne flute in hand. Julian's tattooed arm, yes, the one I helped fund, was draped casually over a chair. I froze there with the wet knife in my hand, cake waiting in the yard, and a 10-year-old outside who still believed people meant their promises. The air smelled of sugar and dish soap. From the backyard, a child yelled "Goal," followed by cheers. I set down the knife, dried my hands on a towel, and went back outside. I handed out plates. I didn't mention the empty chairs, not once. When the last child left, Maxim and I sat together quietly, building the spaceship he'd unwrapped. He never asked where Grandma or his aunts and uncles were. Maybe he already knew. Later, after he'd dozed off on the couch, pizza slice in hand like a tiny king, my phone rang again at 8:04 p.m., a voice message from Mom, sharp and careless. "Don't make this a big deal, Daniel. He's 10. He won't even remember." I lay staring at the ceiling, something inside me flattening, hardening, a new shape forming. I didn't respond. Instead, I counted folding chairs to return, cans to recycle. I scraped leftover frosting into the trash. I tucked the banner into a shoebox with the unused candles. I put everything back where it belonged. That's what I do. And then I set my phone face down on the counter because one more text from them and I'd say something I couldn't unsay. I've always been the fixer, the one who remembers the Wi-Fi password, the tax deadline, everyone's favorite dish. I was 21 when Philippe walked out. Marion told me in the driveway, "You're the man now." It wasn't encouragement. It was a job description. When Sophie launched her last studio, I built her website and fronted 6 months of hosting. "I'll pay you back when I'm profitable," she said. Profit never came. When Julian got a DUI at 25, I took a day off work to sit with him in court. I drove Mom to urgent care that winter when she was sick, but insisted on cooking anyway. I paid Julian's rent just this once, 3 separate months of just this once. The chorus was always the same. "Mom, family helps family." Sophie, admiring herself in the mirror. "You're doing great, can you float me till Friday?" Julian, "You know I'll pay you back." He never did. But he always found cash for new rims. When Maxime was born, I swore he'd never be the kid sitting in a folding chair, wondering if anyone cared. He'd always have cake even if money was tight. He'd see adults who tried, and money was tight. Childcare's a second rent. Health insurance feels like a third, but I still made it work, sold my guitar to cover dental bills. Picked up side jobs, bought him thrift store cleats and scrubbed them shiny with a toothbrush. Meanwhile, my family chat was basically a travel blog. Wine tastings. Retreats tailor-made for Instagram. Sophie's soft life. Julian's grind set. More pictures of his leased truck than actual miles he drove. When I once asked Mom if she wanted to join us for a weekly dinner, she said, "Sweetie, my schedule's packed." Next month never came. But every payday my phone lit up anyway. Quick favor, don't tell anyone I asked. Emergency. Last fall, Sophie called at 11 p.m. on the eve of her girl's trip to Chalum. "My airline card declined. Can you fix it? I'll pay you Monday." Monday passed, she shrugged. "Don't be petty, Daniel. Money comes and goes, but memories last." December brought a spreadsheet from Mom that looked like a ransom note. Holiday gift assignments with names, color coding, and price tiers. "We should split evenly," she said. Evenly meant me. I got Maxim a coat and a book, bought Mom the mixer she'd wanted for months, gave Sophie a supply store card, Julian new trainers. My gift was silence when I asked if someone else could handle dessert next time. It piled up. Not just in my account, but in my chest. That's what responsibility does. You become the fallback plan, and they don't even see it. 2 days after Maxime's party, the group chat lit up again. Mom in all caps, glitter emojis, very important. RSVP by Wednesday. MY niece's sweet 16. $3,100 per person. Attached was a glossy PDF. My cousin in a tiara, orchids dripping from the ceiling, menu boasting caviar bar, ice sculptures, an interactive gelato artist. I stared at the cost, waiting for it to morph into something sane. $3,100 ahead. Then Mom's follow-up. "We'll also need Daniel to cover for Grandma fixed income." There it was, the reflex. My name wasn't Daniel anymore, it was Wallet. No mention of Maxime. No apology for skipping his birthday, just an invoice I'd never agreed to. Sophie chimed in 5 minutes later. "We're all in, of course. Elise says only premium. Daniel, can you coordinate the group gift?" "You're the spreadsheet guy." Julian asked if there'd be an open bar. "If so, worth it. Daniel, cover me and Clara, yeah." I sat with my coffee, burning even as it cooled. I typed no, then deleted it. Not because I didn't mean it, but because words bounced off them unless anchored with something heavy. I opened the PDF again. At the back was a sponsor page. My full name, printed in elegant gold script under patrons. I hadn't given a cent. Sophie had lifted a headshot from my LinkedIn. My stomach turned. I scrolled through Saturday's messages, searching for even one sorry. Nothing but brunch photos and Mom's voice note calling it just a kid's party. Then another message. Mom again, spoke with the venue. Deposit due Friday. Told them you'd handle it. You're the organized one. The deposit was worth more than my car, and they'd assigned it to me like it was a routine errand. That night, as Maxime kicked his feet under the table while doing homework, I printed the sponsor page and placed it beside my grocery list. 2 columns, what I do, what they demand. Soccer fees, mine. Julian's license reinstatement fee, mine. Hosting their websites, mine. Costco cake, mine. $3,100 a head, theirs. Deposit, theirs. Just a kid's party, theirs. The ink dried. Mom followed up in the morning. Daniel, you're quiet. Don't be difficult. Your cousin only turned 16 once. And everything that had been melting inside me for years froze solid, not fire. Ice clear, hard, final. There's always a small moment before the big one. Mine came when I noticed my house key, the original brass. Mom had a copy. Sophie borrowed one last month. I looked at it and realized my boundaries were just as bendable. So I went to the hardware store. Later that day, when the chat was busiest with selfies and forwarded prayers, I dropped my own photo. The backyard on Saturday. Banner still taped to the fence. Empty folding chairs lined neatly like a classroom. Cake box with one corner missing, slices wrapped in foil for the freezer. Caption, this was Maxime's birthday. You said you'd come. Replies came quickly, as I knew they would. Sophie, why post this here? Just text me. Mom, don't guilt us, Daniel. We have lives. Saturdays are hard. Julian, don't play the martyr. Kids don't care, so I posted receipts. Screenshots of their will be their messages. Sophie's brunch photo captioned, my people. No commentary, just facts. Facts are heavy enough on their own. Silence. Then Mom again, enough. Focus on the sweet 16. Be an adult. My pulse pounded in my jaw. I typed, I am an adult. I am Maxime's father. Sophie tossed back a casual slap. Stop making everything about your kid. I stared at the words until they blurred. Then I wrote back. You skipped your own nephew's birthday. A week later, you demanded $3,100 per person for a teenager I see twice a year. You put my name on a sponsor list without asking. You promised a venue I'd pay their deposit. And when I didn't answer fast enough, you called me difficult. This is my answer. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to leave a comment, hit subscribe, follow for more, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss the next one.